now at the start of this film. What a fantastic opportunity I've got here. Opportunity of a lifetime, but I'm really looking forward to. And in fact, we're doing this intro partly into the film now, so I've already done a bit of fishing, and I can tell you, we're going to have some fun here. There's some great times. I'm with Derek here, who's become a great new friend. We met through Miss Pika, that he works for. I was doing an art demo for them. And he turns out to be a man after my own heart, with even some past history and things. We come from the same sort of period of time, so we're looking at the same sort of films and stuff in the past. Great character, the local river keeper here on the wharf, and even looking at possibly buying a house locally and joining in. He's going to introduce me to the rivers and the clubs and things around here. But here we are, we're going to have a film about this area and rivers in this area, and he's going to share his experiences of how he fishes and all the rivers and the places we can go to try and catch a species of each different type of fish, hopefully some bigger specimens too. But I'll let him tell you a bit more about himself. So Derek, how long have you been living in this area?
Well, I've lived here for 30 years now, but I've been fishing here, man and boy. Started at about 7 years old. It was one of my dad's favourite places, New Came on the Wharfe. I think you can see the river behind us. Got barbel, chub, trout, dace, perch, pike, just about every breed of river fish you can think of. Fantastic fishing. I trot down my type of guys that likes trotting down with a float. Maggot and caster, that's all we need.
You're going to be showing us some traditional methods, and you've got this wonderful old Centrepin reel that was made locally, haven't you?
It's called a Leeds reel. It was made by an old guy, old engineer that retired, made himself one in his backyard and shed. Quite a few of the anglers that used to go fishing with him tried it and asked him if they'd make him one, and it went on from there, but sadly he's passed away. I think Leader make them now, not as good as the traditional ones that he made. I've still got mine. I bought it when I was 18 years old, which is some 40 years ago. I've used it daily, nearly every time I go fishing, and it still works as good as new.
And we're going to actually see this in detail being used, not only with Derek, but also with a friend of his as well. And I'm getting a go with it too, so I'm learning about these things rather than my fixed spool. But you've had some big fish here in the past too. You've had double figure barbel, all sorts.
Barbel £13.9, which was the Yorkshire record. I don't know if it still is. I've had chub £6 plus, pike 30, dace £1, perch £3 or £4 a piece. Just about every species you can think of is.
And you actually do keeper this river, this area. How long have you been a river keeper down here?
About 10 years now. I've been sort of a local bailiff. We do catch quite a few poachers. Not too many. Quiet place, it's easy to hide away, that's the trouble with it. But we don't get bothered too much.
But here we are then in West Yorkshire, and it's amazing. Although we've got cities, we've got Bradford, we've got Leeds, we've got other cities around us, the countryside here in itself is absolutely amazing.
It's
and
stunning.
These beautiful pools, yeah. It is a bit of shooting as well. He likes a bit of rabbit shooting occasionally and so on, so you know, the same interests and so on. Anything else you want to add before we get going, Derek, and get
I
into
just
fishing?
want to get down there and
get on with it now,
maggots,
right?
Yeah.
So during this film then, we're going to show you all these different spots. That he's going to show us some secret places, and we're not going to tell you where they all are, we'll all be down there. But certainly from many of these waters you can get day tickets and so on, or buy the books. But it will just give you an idea of some traditional methods, and this is what I said in the intro to the film already. We're not doing all these fancy gizmo methods. Yes, we're going to use some modern techniques. We might be using swim feeders occasionally. What we're doing is going back to the traditional ways of just enjoying river fishing. Can you say anything about that, Derek?
Well, I'm very much a traditional angler myself. I never use pellets. Never do the carp ponding. It's just not my cup of tea. I just like trotting down the river. Old stick float, you can't beat it.
And it works.
£4 line.
Yeah.
£1.5 bottom more often than not if it's no snags.
I know you're not into matches much, but you have won quite a few matches on here,
I have won a few matches, but it's not my cup of tea really. I only come to see where the fish are coming out of, just to get an idea of where they're shoaled up at that time of year. Doesn't interest me at all, match fishing, no. Competition or fame, not bothered.
We're chomping at the bit, and after this we're going after some barbel in pools, and we may, if we get some live bait, have a go at some pike. The only thing that has surprised me on this water so far is the big fish are like minnows. It's really well stocked with big fish, but can we get smaller fish for live bait at the moment? Very strange, the smaller fish aren't there, but let's get on. fishing this morning. You've earned that.
Cheers, buddy.
Yep. Cheers to you as well, mate. And so our journey downriver finishes up at Boston Spa. This is where the real story will start and the action, and it is also where the local water bailiff Derek has befriended me and invited me to come and fish with him on his home waters for these few days. Let's first take a look at the equipment I'm going to use on this trip. Clearly I'm not using the Canon I'm holding at the moment, but it will include the Canon leg gear, which I will now start using to film this. Right, it's test time on these now. We're going to take my little barrel cam, put a little lead below it to attach to a line so that when it's drawn through the water and there's a lure behind, hopefully we'll see any fish coming up on it. And the GoPro I fitted to one of my older arms. I put on a plastic foam top, and I'm hoping we can drop that down with a fishing rod from the bridges or cast it over carefully and it will float down river and pick up fish on the way. Let's just see how that works. Now that looks to be absolutely perfect. I'm going to use these rather handy little JTS radio mics for windy days especially. Ordinarily I won't bother, but for the windy days I require it. So that I've made a handy pack there for that. They're easily mountable, they're quite inexpensive to buy, and it seems to be quite effective. And a smaller round net here, and I've got my bank stick to put onto my keep net and a couple of rod rests. I shan't be taking the radio remotes and I shan't be taking the alarms, and nor will I be needing a rod pod because I'm not going carp fishing. It's not still water, with all sorts of flies in here, from little nymphs through to dry flies and nymphs, and then we've got our various swim feeders and so on in there. We've got floats for pike, perch, zander. As we're going to be going for carnivores, as we're going to be going for the predators as well, I'm going to take a couple of bait buckets. I've got this rod here, which is a light spinning rod. I've got it set up at the moment for worm and for minnow, with a weighted float and a medium. These rods are not quite antiques. I do have antique rods. I love to use my old split cane fishing rods at times. I've got them for all sorts of fishing. I've got old green heart rods, split cane rods, bamboo rods, and they're beautiful to use. I shan't be using a Centrepin this time. I'm going to leave that to Derek. Well, it's a late winter morning. Oh, beautiful fish. Well, there we are. Lovely brown trout, the wild brownie from this river. On the fly it's caught on, there's a little gold head nymph here, look. Take a close up of that, his head, and you'll see. Here we are, a lovely nice 2.5, maybe just about 3 pound. Lovely fish. Nicest brown trout I've had for a long time. You should see him in a minute.
Whoa!
The size of that, that's a lovely fish, yes. About 3 pound, is it? Maybe a bit more, I should see, yeah. Lovely fish, yeah.
Whoa, how big is they?
Yeah. What a beautiful, lovely colours in the sun, yes. One of the biggest fish of the day has got to be coming on 10, 12 pound, that good fish. Here we have the big European whales, the real McCoy, a catfish, and it shows what's possible here at the Powder, apart from all this other wonderful variety of species we have of carp and tench and roach, the zander as well, which I got last night. Look at the size of the mouth on this thing. All in one day, the big silure, and now straight afterwards this zander, so the water conditions obviously are really good. Just look at that lovely fin. Oh, a nice fish. Well, he's twice the size of yours.
5.
Good fish. Got a nice little barbel here, about 5 pound. He'll do well. Yeah, nice fish. My biggest ever pike. We're going to weigh him in a minute, but it's got to be over 20, I reckon, on a small roach. And I shall watch his ways and film his ways, and he won't learn anything off me, but he's going to assist me to fish, and I shall thoroughly enjoy it, I'm sure.
fair now, is it? It's only an 18 hook. Not seen the fish yet.
I can see it now.
It's the barbel. You can see it now.
Yeah, we got that.
It's only 4 or 5 pounds by the look of it. Right, I've set up a little bolt rig here for Peter, one that he's never used before. This is my main line coming down, £5 main line, and I've put a loop in it of about 12 inches long with a link swivel in it. On that I've attached just a little 1/4 ounce weight for now, which you can take off and swap for a feeder or heavier weight or anything you want to put on there at a later time. The idea is that the fish picks up the hook, runs off with the bait, this slides up, hits the fish and hooks it for you. Totally tangle free rig as well. Very simple, straightforward, but that's all we need here for these barbel.
And how is that lid at the top?
That's just a simple knot that's traced through 3 times, wet it, pull it tight, it'll stay there forever.
And that's not a weakness in the line having that?
It's not a weakness at all, no. No, it's never gone on me, never let me down, never got me into a tangle, as Pete will find out when he tries it today.
Right, okay, we'll give it a go. Right, we're now going to have a go with Derek. He's going to be trotting down this lovely swim here. We know there's trout, barbel, all sorts down this end. Even seen a big sea trout the other night. He's going to tell you about his tackle a minute first.
Got a 12-foot floor rod, it's an old Shimano power loop. Favourite rod. Got 2 of these. Can't get them anymore, so superb rod. A little bit heavy now, I suppose, with modern rods that are out. Same with the reel. Centrepin lead reel. Had it for years. The modern ones again are much lighter, but this does it for me.
And as you can gather by the surroundings, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's quiet, just the sound of the water now, the birds in the evening. You couldn't have nicer conditions.
Set the waters at an all level low. I think it's the 1st of July 2015, the hottest day of the year so far. I think struggling everywhere at the moment. Most rivers are at all-time lows. And as anglers know, not the best conditions to fish.
Right, well, while I'm there filming Derek, I've actually got a fish on. So
Feel like a nice fish, Peter?
It's not bad. I don't think it's huge, but it is a barbel, and it is my only fish of the day.
First fish of the day, Peter. First fish of the day.
We shall see. I want to watch Derek catching.
Is that with the bolt rig that I showed you earlier, Peter?
No, this is my rig. Not huge, but I think it's nice.
What a beautiful sight.
There we go. Beautiful. What a way to have an evening, eh? It's laid out here to see some evening light. Just in the water there. There she is. And we'll get that hook out as fast as we can. Get it back in again.
We've got a Dace. A chunky little bugger. What we call silverfish. Dace about 4 or 5 ounces. Like a barb hook, comes out really easy. Fish has suffered no damage whatsoever. There she goes back. Let's have another.
Well, I've got my first little fish now of the trip, small grayling. It's only a tiddly one, but it's a start, isn't it? It's broken the duck.
Hi, I'm Martin Lovedale. I'm a good friend of Derek Holman, who I've known for nearly 50 years now, and we've been fishing this river for many, many years.
You've got a lot of big fish, I gather, between you.
Yes.
What's the biggest you've caught in here then?
Oh, I'd say about an 8-pound barbel. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to just introduce the tackle that we use here. As you can see, it's an old leads reel, and we think that the leads reel was made by some bloke in Leeds in a shed, and he came out with a Centrepin that most anglers could afford and use, and it's absolutely superb. Got loads of chub and barbel on that. That's the reel that I use. Okay, well, we've got a 4-pound Bayer line here, and as you can see, it's a Maver rod. And the good thing about this rod, it's nice and light, and the action goes right through. So if you've got a chub or especially a barbel, you know, you can use all your rod. You lift it high, use all your rod, and it goes right through to the fish. That's a cast. I'm mending the line there, look. And I've got a maggot on this time. And as we were discussing earlier, that was the bottom. You tend to attract minnows.
I've now changed down to a smaller self-cocking, tiny shot and a tiny little size 18 hook there. Size 18 on a 1.5 pound line. These fish are very fine and finickety. I don't think I'm going to catch a barbel on it, but at least I'll have more chance for the grayling. We're back in. The last little grayling I have a feeling. Just using the light hook and just feeding. It's a nice fish. Heaving a little bit differently this time. Certainly giving a good account of itself on this light tackle. I've only got 1.25 pound line on, so I can't give it too much. Nice little fish. What have we got, a brown trout? Yes, we've got another of our species here. There we go. That's the brown trout, about 1.5 pounds. And again. So we're fishing very light tackle now, 1.5 pound trace. And a beautiful, beautiful little male grayling. Just hand that one in, I think. Splashing about a bit, but let's have a look at him. So slimy, these things. Gotcha. Alright, we've got another little one. Right, biggest fish of the day, minnow. Well, something's just taken the barbel bait, and it's not very big, whatever it is, and it looks like an eel. Let's see what we've got here then. It'll be another species if it is, and that is just what we've got. We've got ourselves a common eel. There we go. Well, you never know, do you? What a mess. We just popped into this shop for some extra line for the baits and tackle, and I've been to larger shops or shops of this size in America, but not to something as magnificent as this in England. Totally recommend this place, friendly staff, everything you could want, from the fly fishing to the coarse gear, right the way through, all sorts of types of fishing. It's a huge place. I'll just give you a quick look now.
I am Bob from Bobco Fishing Tackle. We have a massive store here. We're catering for all anglers, whether it be coarse fishing, sea fishing or predator fishing. We have rods, reels, seat boxes, everything you could possibly need.
Okay, Derek, what we're going to do is just to give you an introduction, just a mere introduction to fly fishing. There's a lot more in depth we could do, but this will give you the basics so you can practice on your own and just get yourself started. And we'll try and give you a little go tonight just to get the basics again of how to cast as well. I'll just tell you a bit about the tackle that we're using and the difference between this and the traditional tackle you've been using, which there's a very large difference. For a start, we're using a fly rod, in this case a single-handed little light rod, and you see the reel is a bit like your Centrepin, but it doesn't flow as freely. There's a ratchet on it. And we've got a light coloured line there. We've got a second reel here which has a green coloured, and this one is a slow sinking line, and that's a floating line. And we've basically got three sorts of lines: fast sinking, an intermediate or slow sinker, and then a floating. And you can have lines in between. And the lines are different thicknesses and different shapes as well. This lighter coloured line might start with a thin taper or a heavier end, so it can be double taper where it's thin at the front, thin at the back, and the weight of the line must suit the rod. And for some strange reason the Americans have got in again, and they call the weight of the rod AFTMs, American Fishing Tackle Manufacturer. So when you buy a line, it's AFTM whatever, a rod, it's AFTM whatever. So that's a 7 to 8 rod, we have to have a 7 to 8 line to match the rod. And it's the line that throws the fly out. It's a line that casts, not the weight as you would have of the float or the shot or anything else. So we have a length of line just about the length of the rod, the thin line called the trace, which we can have in various tapers as it comes down. You can have more than one fly on. I only fish with one normally because I'm not that good. And that leader is usually about the length of the rod, so that it makes it more manageable. It can be longer if the fish are very finicky. Now, when I said floating lines and slow sinking lines and fast sinking lines, that was for the type of insect or animal that these flies are going to represent. For instance, here we've got something called lures. Next we'll go on to two sets of flies here. Here we've got dry flies. You can see there's a large, what we call hackle. That's the furry bit around here, which comes usually from a cock hackle of a cockerel, and it's twisted around the fly to give that hackled effect of wings, and it floats on the water, gives the feeling of a fly. Here you see you've got flies with wings and a hackle and a little tail and so on. All these various types of little fly. Over here we've got some nymphs, and they're about little stone flies or caddisfly larvae that are hatching out, or shrimps. And they've got some dry flies amongst them, and this little fella here that I was using earlier in the film as a bite indicator, because the fish are very finicky and they've been used to feeding here on caster spoon, which we can lift out. I'll show you it now. Now this object is kept for people like just came opposite us who were going to fish our swim. Two young lads just came across here and were tempted to fish our swim, which wasn't very civil of them, and you'd use that on them possibly. No, I'm only joking, but this is called a priest for knocking the fish on the head. But also you'll notice at the end here it unscrews secretly, and inside we've got a whole pot of LSD. Now inside we've got this little brass scoop, which when we catch a fish we can put it inside without even killing the fish actually, and just remove the feed that it's been on and see what they've been feeding on, so that we're certain these little larvae that are under the water. So that's just the very basics. And these are little weighted heads on them, so it gets them down there. What I'm going to do now is just try a little shrimp, a little light shrimp here on a floating line, so it'll only go down to below the surface. It's got hardly any weight in it at all, so it's going to be very, very slow. It'll just jerk about a little bit. But I'm going to use this as a demonstration to show you the basics of casting, and then hopefully Derek's going to have a little go just to get him started, and I can just give him the basics again and make sure he's got a good form and good style to start with. After that he can practice on his own. He's a good enough fisherman to pick it up very quickly, I know that. I haven't got to tell him much. He'll pick up things very fast. Just got to make sure he just gets a good habits before we get going. Okay, let's have a little demonstration. I'll show you how to do the basics of this casting. It doesn't matter whether it's wet fly or dry fly. In this case I'm using the wet fly, so I'm going to be casting across and downstream, or just downstream at the moment, just to show you the angle of the rod. We're not going to use the arm so much, we're using more the wrist. And the first thing is, I can see a fish rising down there, so I'm going to try and do a very long cast now. I'm going to pull line off as I'm doing it, and I'm lifting line off forward and as I go back. Mainly my wrist working, right back, right forward, and I'm casting slightly to the side so that I don't hit myself. I'm getting a long line now, right out, right back, and then forward, and you can release the rest of your line on the forward cast. That's the basics of getting the line out. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to deliberately cast downstream and then do a back cast backwards and drop it above me. So I'm going to start casting and aerialise it straight from the water and go right back up there and cast it behind me. So now I'm fishing across and down. Fun. I'm just giving the basics now, and then we're going to seriously fish his old method with the Centrepin, and I'm going to film the expert doing that for you. And he can give you all the tips he can, which is wonderful because he's got all these years of knowledge to share with you and with me. So straight back, good. Straight front, rod higher, keep the rod up, use the tip. Flick that tip more, flick the tip, that's better, that's beautiful, well done. And forward and let some line out next time. Let the line out. Well, that's it now. Right out and let go. There you go. And as soon as you feel you're about 4 or 5 feet away, you can lift that up and get it straight behind, but keep that rod high and use the tip. Really flick that tip. Don't use the rod, use the tip. Up and forward, look behind you, that's it. Now too low, rod tip higher. Up, that's better, straight, that's better. No, too soon, straight first. Yeah, get it out straight in front and straight behind. But for a beginner, bloody good. Your first couple of goes, when you keep that rod high, you're in control. It's really good. Yeah, well there you go. If you catch a fish before I bloody do, you'll be in trouble. You buy the pints tonight if you get bloody fish on there. That's good. Keep the rod up. Use your thumb to push it. That's better. Straight behind, straight in front, straight, and that's better. That was the best cast yet. You're really doing well. Excellent that was. Well, I reckon Derek's really got it now. Look, you can see he's getting the cast back, straight forward. Bit more forward, that's it, and straight out. And he's even had a couple of touches on the fly too, so absolutely very, very pleased for his first go for him. You can see now he's much, much better, using his wrist better, pushing with the wrist, getting it out straight behind, straight in front. Only just, that's it, and then a much better forward cast that time. And we're going to stop filming at that unless he catches one, because I feel he's attained all he contained in the first lesson. It's up to him now, as long as he enjoys it, he's away.
Hey, see ya, Derek.
Well, I'm going to cross over the river and have a go at these grayling and trout that seem to be rising over near.
Well, we're going to change over spools now and try a floating line. Right, I'm going to join some fluorocarbon on now to the main line, ×3. Trim those off, and there we are. I'm going to use as a little dry fly. We're going to put some mucilin along the line itself. Then on the fly, put the fly into this bottle of liquid mucilin, give it a shake up, that's ready to go. Yep, straight in. Nice little grayling. We're using a bite indicator now, and a little nymph. Got a bit of time to get in. Beautiful fish, got a lovely fin. Don't want to come yet though. There he goes. And into the net, and what a beautiful fish that is. Let's get that on. Well, look at that fin on the camera.
Lovely little fish, look, that beautiful fin. Trying to get a still shot of that one. Lovely little grayling then, using a bite indicator and little nymph. Beautiful male fish, you can see the fin there.
It's a pike. Yeah, it's a pike about 4 pound. Well, there we go, pike on casters. Just shows you how annoying my mate Martin can be. Oops. She's gone. I can't get my hand around it, but there we go.
Yeah, nice fish. Lovely there, Eric.
Same condition.
Yeah.
Back. Second cast. Peter's into a chub here, his first cast on floating bread.
It's not a chub, it's a lovely brown trout. I thought it was a bit strange.
A brown trout.
The beauty of that beautiful brown trout, look. Would you believe it, on bread?
Floating bread.
There we go. Back in. Oh, got my name to go fish. Keep going again.
There's more weedy. I'm going to try and get...
Right, we're running, are we? Right, we've got a nice fish here, the first chub on bread. First fish was a trout, which was wrongly called, of course, but it looked like a chub at first. But this one's about £4, so we've got another one of our species. And we're welcome it is too on bread, just floating it down to the end of a swim.
Now I've got to figure out a way to get down to this bank to land this fish, right? Very fast water we're in here.
Smaller, this one, I think. Well, here's the other fish, about 2.5, about £3, somewhere there. Nice little fish, but fought well in this fast water again. We might get another one yet this evening, but it's just fun to get a couple of chub, and what fun it is floating crust, as I'm just showing you. That's it there. Oh, still.
There we go. Lovely nice chub there. Big chub, about nice big chub, about £4, £5 maybe. Good fish. Let's see if we can get another one before they just looked in the lip there, look. Beautiful fish, eh? I'll try for another one. Let's put a bit on the hook. Bend it over, bend it over, fold it over. Still feeding out there, so with a bit of luck we'll get another one yet.
Just bending the rod there. What a lovely way to catch fish. We've got that now.
Again, lovely nice chub, lovely big chub. Get him out of that end of that pool. There we go, you can see him coming up now, big bow wave. And we'll get the underwater camera again. Another nice fish about the same size. Let's get into here and we'll film it again as it comes in. Hook's just on the edge of the mouth there. There we go, and in she comes. Another lovely fish. Wharfe chub. Try a bit of bread now down here. Got another nice fish on here, ploughing around down there. Put a little bit more tension on. Let's see what we got. Beautiful big brown trout came up just now, about 3 pounds, and leapt right out of the water. Well, this is running straight up towards me here. Oh, it's another nice little trout, yes. Not the big one though, but it'll do. It's good sport. Rather catch them on a fly though. Got more trout in here than I thought. Let's go up to the net. Oh, another nice little brown trout there, look. Well, we're onto something in the weight. I don't know what we got yet, but find out in a minute. Perch. We've got our species, the perch. Look at that, beautiful in the sunlight. Nice little perch with his fin.
Peter.
Oh, got a big fish on here. Oh, bloody broke me off. Well, I just lost a fish here. I hooked it, it's the first fish I've hooked from this spot. And I actually thought I'd hit the bottom. It just was solid until it decided to go. And now to add to our species, the veritable gudgeon at last. Rather fun, lovely little bait for perch or pike, but we've at last caught one of our species here on the Nid. Small start, isn't it? It's only a little chub, but be good for live bait, but I haven't got a live baiting rod with me. That's sod's law, isn't it?
Couldn't fly a chopper or Norwegian microlight. He didn't have a bungee rope. Things didn't look too bright.
That one there, that one there, that one there. That should start me off like it.
There you go. Right then, you're on.
There we go, look up the avalanche there. New wages, £10. Absolute bargain. Can't wait to get them on and go down a few maggots. Alright, we're at Rufford Carp. Ideal place to get a bit of cheap tackle, i.e. nice pair of waders, £10. But still getting wet.
I missed these. I'm just going to set up these two rods here, and I've got some spam to try today and a couple of boilies, and I want to put those on to a hair rig I've made up. Just bring that back. So I'm going to put those through with a baiting needle. I'm going to put two of these small boilers on to see what happens. It just comes through. All I need is a wee stop. The end. And there we go, that one's on ready to go. Now the luncheon meat on the other one. I've cut the dice these up already. Nice size. And push the hook right the way through to the other side. Bring it out, turn it round, place it back inside, and we're ready to cast. Where I want to cast is just down the bottom of the swing down here, the other side. Like that. Just let it run down the ways. And that can go back into the rod rest. And same with the other one. Marble here. That's what we can do. Not a very big one, I don't think, but it's not bad all the same. It's a nice fish. Looks about 5 pounds. Looks about 5 pounds. Sunshine, really. There we go. We're up into the net. Lovely. And another lovely fish, about 5 pounds. Well, another 5 pound or so for about 4.5. Not quite 5, but a lovely fish. Nice and sleek, certainly moves fast in the water. There she goes.
I won't. Yeah, I won't. It might just be holding itself, mate. They feel like they're stuck round rocks. Don't mean they are.
It's not all that big, but it's a nice fish. Come on. What is that out there? Awesome. Coming up towards 7 pounds, not as big as I thought, but it bloody fought. I thought we'd got about a 10 pounder here for a minute, wrapped me around a rock, but as you see I got the waders on and went out there and got him loose. So a couple of fish have hit me hard very, very quickly. Might be some more down there if I haven't frightened them off wading out. But we'll carry on having a go, but wow, this is getting to be good, isn't it? Move the underhook.
Okay.
Right, well we've got another fish about 4.5, 5 pound. Another nice barbel at the end of the afternoon. We were going to go piking, I don't know whether they're going to do that yet. We might need to get a bit more live bait another time, but lovely fish again on lunch and meat. Fishing upstream this time, not down.
here.
Peter's spitting feathers now. Just got tangled in snap. I think it's time to give up. He's got that look upon his face.
Last barbel maybe, if things don't. Possibly the outtake, possibly the last fish of the holiday, and he's still buggering about. Small chub, a nice little fish, beautifully landed for me by the expert here, and we're going to fish a bit more, another half an hour or so. Then I've got to be on my way back, regrettably. It's been a wonderful time for me, wonderful trip, learnt a lot, had some fantastic fun, and maybe I'll come again, maybe invited again.
If he stops killing our fish, we might.
Anyway, thanks very much for this, and now I've got to put all the film together. Yeah, now I've got to put all the film together, but it says, you know, I really do thank my two hosts very, very much.
Well, it's the end of a week and a half session we've had here. We've had record lows on river levels. We've done really well, really, to say the conditions have been what they are. I don't think anybody else will have done any better anywhere in England this week. I'm lucky to catch any at all, to be honest. But we've had a good week. Well, Peter has anyway. He's shown me how to do it. But I've learned a lot about camera work this week.
It's true, you've done really well. These wonderful shots we're going to see.
So
Yeah, let me do well with the fly.
I've had a few beers, which is a rarity for me.
It's been good fun, hasn't it? It's been nice.
We've had a great week.